This is the plaintiff, Charles Zaruba. He says he hired the defendant to make him a boat cover. He's been waiting 4 months for the thing to be completed, and he feels that's long enough. His patience has worn thin, and he's now suing for the return of his $500 down payment. This is the defendant, Karen. She says she has the boat cover sewn and ready to install, but her installer lost a child and was mourning the death, and the plaintiff's job was slightly delayed. She did all this work for the plaintiff already and doesn't think it's fair he's now trying to back out of their deal. She's accused of being a landlubber.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says that he hired the defendant to make him a boat cover. 4 months later, no boat cover, and he's sick of it and wants a refund. The defendant says she got a little backed up and the plaintiff needs to be a little more patient. It's the case of this boat don't float.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Okay, Mr. Zaruba, you are suing Ms. Karen from ABC Canvas. Tell me why you're suing them.
They never completed the job.
What'd you hire them for?
To make me approximately a 6x9 cockpit cover. It's a cover that covers my windshield and my seats up front to protect the dashboard and my seats from weather.
Okay.
She said she could do the job, and I told her I was not in no hurry. I mean, by saying not in a hurry, I mean today or a week or so from now. I give her plenty of leeway. She said she'd get back to me within a week and send somebody out to look at the job to get an estimate of what it would cost. So I waited that day, the date that she told me somebody would come out. Nobody ever showed up or called. So I called her back and told her I was very displeased by me having to sit around all day waiting for nothing. And nobody called or told me that they wasn't coming. So she apologized and said, well, we'll send somebody out the following day, which they didn't.
Why would you keep working with them if they're that irresponsible and they have no respect for your time? I wouldn't give them a third chance. I mean, if they had done that to me.
Yeah, well, that's the kind of person I am. So,
well, no, you're that. I can't help but that makes you the kind of person who we call a litigant. That's not a good thing. No. I mean, so a second time, so now a third appointment, and what happens?
No show, no call.
I mean, are they the only canvas people in town in Cape Coral?
No, she was the closest one to my house.
Okay.
She was about a mile from my house.
Well, it doesn't do any good because close as they were, they're not showing up. So what happens, according to him? So what happens?
Finally, someone did come out and they took measurements and they made a print of the cover that was supposed to be, said they'd be back within a week or so to finalize the preparedness of the cover, which they never did come back. Then I called again. The person that took the print, she told me that the person who took the pattern, someone had passed away in her family, and that she would need at least a week to mourn the loss and the burial of the person that passed away in her family. I said, that's well and fine. I could understand that. So a week passed by. I didn't receive any call from her letting me know what the problem was. So I called her back, and she said she didn't have nobody now to, because the person didn't get back to her or show up.
Okay, who is it you're talking to? Are you talking to Karen all these times or no?
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
Okay.
That's the only one I communicated with over the phone.
Okay.
So she apologized again and said that she would send somebody else out to do the job. Apparently, the first person had left her employed. So another person came out, and he looked at the job, and he had a piece of material with him and said, this is all wrong. This will not fit the proportions of your boat. I have to take it back and show it to Karen.
By now, what month are we in?
April.
Okay, go on.
She told me that he would be out on a such and such a date to make the final print and measurements. Well, he never did come back, so I called her up then and told her I'm finished with her. I said, you done lied to me too many times. You told me to wait, they're coming. Nobody ever showed or came.
Okay.
So I really got disgusted and told her that I'm going to see an attorney.
Okay. So in February, you paid a deposit of $450. And in April, 2 months later, you tell her you've taken too long, give me my money back. And she won't give it back to you.
Right. She said, well, if I refund your money, I would have to take out the cost of the material. I said, well, I'm sure the material didn't cost $450. And then she also said, I would pay you back, but it would have to be in installments. I said, well, I didn't give you my down payment in installments, so I expect my full amount returned to me.
Ms. Karen, why don't you tell me what's going on?
Well, basically everything that Charles has said is true. I had a mother and son that did the estimate, patterned the cover, the mother sewed it, and we signed the agreement to do the cover on the 17th February, and by the 28th, it was completely sewn and ready for install. And I would ask Ileana, that's her name, to please call Mr. Zaruba and tell him what time he's going to be there. Next thing I know, I would be getting a call from Mr. Zaruba saying that no one showed. So then I would text and I would leave voicemails.
Are these employees of yours or were you farming it out?
The subcontractors. See, with COVID, I lost all my employees. So I've just been struggling, trying to get people to come on board. But no one wants to work when they're collecting their unemployment.
People don't want to come to work because they're collecting more unemployment than they would get being paid by you. Who knew this was a bad formula? Who knew that this might cause commerce to come to a halt?
Right.
Yeah. So when I got a hold of this mother and son team, I thought this is terrific. They've got a lot of experience. Unfortunately, I didn't know that David was sick even before he was admitted to the hospital. But on March...
David is who, the son of the mother-son team?
Yes.
All right. And he was sick, and what happened? He passed away?
Yes.
It wasn't COVID, was it?
No. It was organ failure.
I'm very sorry to hear that. And so was Mr. Zaruba, because he said, okay, let's give it some time. And then it's still, according to you, it had been sewn in 7 days and it was ready for putting in. Why couldn't you just go pick it up?
Because the snaps are installed on the boat for the best fit.
Okay, so, and that's not a talent you possess. That's something that you would need to farm out, and you couldn't find anybody to work.
Right.
All right.
So Ileana was grieving. Then I did get another couple to go out. They tried to fit it, and one side was, the top was good, one side was good, and one side was not. And I know that I'd been told that there was something funky that Mr. Zaruba wanted on that one side, but only she would be able to fix it. So I was waiting on her.
Are you talking about the grieving mom? Who is she, the grieving mom?
Yes.
But here's the thing, like, when is enough enough? There's failures to appear. There's 2 months. I mean, I understand what you're saying. You're like,
agree.
hey, I was trying my best, but if your best wasn't good enough, why wouldn't he get his money back? If you agree, why am I here?
Because I didn't have anyone working for me to generate
No, not anyone working. Why? You have the money he gave you. Why don't you give it back to him?
Because I kept waiting. I kept waiting for Ileana to get it on the boat, because she had done, 90% of the work, and she was going to want to be paid. And actually, when he said, just forget it, I don't want to deal with you, then a couple of weeks later, I've got notes that he's calling again and asking when we can do the install. So it was just really tragic.
So he gave you another chance, and what happened with that?
I heard nothing. I texted and left voicemails every single day.
To Ileana?
And received nothing back.
Okay. I sympathize with your plight. It's not that I don't understand your plight. The question is, who bears the cost of this problem? And there is no planet where anybody but you is going to bear the cost of this problem. And Ileana, who did a bunch of work and probably won't get paid. So it's not Ileana's fault. It's not the government's fault for paying people more to stay home than to work, even though I agree with you on the wisdom of that little gem. But at the end of the day, it's still, you got his money. You couldn't abide by your contract. So your impossibility of performance means he gets his money back. It's not on him. He's not going to eat it.
Yes.
$450 verdict for the plaintiff. You don't get $50 for time and aggravation, although I like it. I do like it. But nobody's paying me for my time and aggravation, so you don't get it either. That's not really a cause of action. All right. Good luck, folks.
So the plaintiff's patience ran out. He sued, and he's going to get his money back. He did the right thing. Karen, what are you thinking right now? You can't be surprised at the judge's verdict, are you?
No, I'm not. I was just hoping that I could do it in small installments rather than a lump sum.
Well, you got to give the $450 back. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Mr. Zaruba, the judge said she liked your suing for $50, that extra for your patience, but you don't get that. You'll get the $450 back. So is that okay with you?
That's fine. Fine. I'm satisfied.
All right. Congratulations. Glad you're satisfied.
Okay, Doug, so I want to talk about something we talked about a while ago, which is the magic words that when time really matters and a week late is not good enough, you write the words. Time is of the essence in the contract, and that means they have to get it done on the due date.
Do you ever have problems with shifting gears from the courtroom to your home or personal life by treating family or friends like litigants, perhaps?
My mother used to always say, "Stop. I'm not one of your litigants." When I was talking to her, she said that to me for the last 20-something years.
Yeah.
I'm not a defendant in your courtroom. I'm not a defendant.
But you know, when you are in family settings, etc., you are analytical and you do ask questions just like you do on the show that are designed to get to the answer as fast as you can
I have no patience.
and as tightly as you can. Like when you grill the kids, if they will, for their transgressions, which are usually, leaving a big mess somewhere, spilling something somewhere, taking your clothes, which they do all the time. They never take mine.
My makeup, they take my hairbrushes. It drives me crazy.
But that's how you think, and you try to drill down fast. I guess the worst transgression might have been the time that Sophie stole the car, but other than that,